It's 110% okay to get excited for the 2023 Philadelphia Eagles season. It's an interesting question brought up a few weeks ago on the show. Are we getting a little too overhyped for our Eagles this year? Should we be this excited? And I'm just going to flat out say it. Yes, it's okay. Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network live from Fox's Pizza Den in Kennett Square. We're live in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. Oddly, we are live from the pizza shop this morning here in Kennett Square. Not the plan. Hopefully, y'all can hear me. The audio isn't as good without the soundboard and whatnot. This is just not my typical way of doing a morning show, but we're here and we're live anyway because we wouldn't let a little problem at the pizza shop stop a show. We would never do that. Good morning, Adam. How you doing? You're watching Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network, Facebook, and YouTube. We're not on Twitter today. Twitter has some problems, so we're just on these two. That's why it's so important to subscribe and follow. It is free to hit that like button. It is free to hit that share button. It is free to turn those notifications on. It's free. So do it. It would help so much greatly if you did that. Again, it's the only show in Philadelphia where your opinions actually matter. We started a few minutes early. So we're going to give everybody a minute as I get this show all set up to get in on the show. I think I've got everything shared out as most as I normally do here. Very hard to do this when you're used to doing it on one platform and all of a sudden you're doing it on another computer in another place. But I think we're good. Adam, if you can hear me loud and clear, let me know you can. What is up? Our checking in right from the get-go. So we got a lot to talk about today. I have an over-under poll that I've been running on my Twitter page. It just ended. About 9 different statistical categories for the Philadelphia Eagles and an over-under prediction on each stat for key Eagles on this team. Loud and clear. That is what I like to hear. I don't have a mic. I don't have a headset. I don't got nothing. So we're just rolling this way here today. And we've got smash that like button, of course. Yes, please. Please smash that like button. So we got that. The over-under poll today. We are going to dive into the over-under poll for the Eagles stats. I made a few bets already for the season. We're going to go over those. And then we're going to start here with something that was kind of interesting. Something I put out yesterday was my 5 most important Philadelphia Eagles for the 2023 season not named Jalen Hurts. Obviously, he is the most important Eagle. Jalen Hurts, the Eagles go as Jalen Hurts goes. So taking Jalen Hurts out of the equation, who are the 5 most important Eagles? And I want to start there because the 5 I put on my list, I called it my power rankings at this moment for most important Eagles. And you'd be surprised that who's on my list, but also I got some blowback on my list. Opinions matter, likes are free. Opening week of the football is here. It's priceless. Opinions matter, likes are free. Football is back. That's priceless. We got the whole world in our chat. We got the whole world. I love it. Great comment there, Eric. Way to go with the Bray Wyatt quote there. What is up, man chatter? How you doing today? Make sure you hit that like button. Like I said, we're live from the pizza shop today, man chatter. If you're in the area, come by and not get a slice of pizza because the doors are still locked. Phil is Philly. I try to be Philly. I can't believe there's still a manhunt on the loose here in Kent. I'm here at my pizza shop. My alarms are going off at 5:30 in the morning, my security alarms here at the shop, and there's a manhunt for an escaped murderer from the Chester County Prison. A, why was he in the prison? B, how has he been on the loose since Thursday? I have no idea. That's not why my alarms were going off, but man, what is going on in Chester County with the escaped convict? What is up, my man? I'm hungry. I got my Wawa coffee. You don't know what Wawa coffee is, man chatter. Up there in Buffalo. All right, so let's dive into the Eagles here, guys. Let's dive into these most important players. And I'm going to name my 5, and then I'm going to go into my reasonings. And I'd love to hear you guys tell me how wrong I am, because everybody on Twitter told me I'm wrong. So in reverse order, they did spot him by Kendall. He's now crossed over 52 in Route 1. Somehow, I have no idea. What is up, K1? How you doing this morning? But yeah, they've spotted him a dozen times in the last 5 days, Adam, and he still has not been caught. Either this guy is the greatest genius escapee of all time, or the authorities. I'm not going to knock the authorities, but maybe the authorities just aren't doing their best. They really need to hire Sam Gerard, the great Sam Gerard, the U.S. Marshal. If you know where I'm going with that, he's the best at catching the fugitive. Shout out Chester County. I mean, Chester County's on lockdown. More days, no school. School just started, and they're already on their second closed day because of this man on. Most important Eagles, in reverse order to me. DB Cooper got nothing on this guy. Dude, I mean, we can talk Eagles, but man, this manhunt is going insane. It is literally dominating the news out here right now. There's some people panicking. Some people think it's hilarious. Me, just in the middle, just want to get back to normal. They're going to start putting microchips in me. They better consider that, mister. I mean, the amount of manpower and the amount of money that is being spent trying to catch this fugitive right now in Chester County. They got U.S. Marshals. They got state and local police. They got dogs. They got helicopters. They got planes. They've got people's ring cameras. He's been spotted so many places. This guy he can't be caught. And every time I hear a sound go by my back door here, I'm like, uh-oh, are the cops here? I don't know. It is, to an extent, hilarious that this guy can't be caught. See, Trending in the AM isn't just about sports. We cover the hard-hitting topics as well here at Trending in the AM. On a side note, my delivery drivers that bring my food came at 5:30 this morning, set the security alarms off because they went in the wrong door, and then didn't deliver the food. So I had to come in here this morning because I didn't know what was going on. And now I'm here an extra 2.5 hours early today, and I still don't have my food delivery. So I don't know what the hell. And I've messaged them. So at some point, my food delivery is going to show up here in the middle of the show, hopefully. 5 most important Eagles, not named Jalen Hurts. Let's get to what, can they escape? Maybe that's why they haven't found them. Maybe Howie flew his helicopter into Longwood Gardens area, picked them up, and brought them, because Howie Roseman's worked out like 97 punters so far and still hasn't brought anybody else in to replace Aaron Sippos. It's kind of interesting. It's a case of where's Waldo for sure. Like, really? Like, they can't find this guy? I know he's only 5 foot tall. 5 most important Eagles, not named Jalen Hurts. Let's get to the important conversation today, guys. Let's make sure we do that, and make sure you hit that like button and follow button and subscribe button and notification button. We got 10 people watching on YouTube right now. The more people that hit that like button, the better this show gets. 5 most important Eagles. Number 5, Reed Blankenship. Really big surprise that I put him on the list. We'll get to why and all these guys in a second. Number 4 most important Eagle, not named Jalen Hurts. Jalen Carter, the new rookie defensive tackle sensation. I feel like I'm David Letterman doing my top 10 list here right now. Number 5, Reed Blankenship. Number 4, Jalen Carter, the one that really, really pissed people off on my list. Number 3, most important Eagle this year, not named Jalen Hurts, DeAndre Swift. Number 2, Nakobe Dean. And the number 1 most important Eagle this year, not named Jalen Hurts, Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson, Nakobe Dean, DeAndre Swift, Jalen Carter, Reed Blankenship. Drum roll. That's right. Drum roll. Because I said who I hyped the list for a long time, and then I didn't say it because we keep talking about the escaped convict. The most important Eagle is Nick Sirianni with new OC in DC. I want to say, hey, Peanut, great comment. Great point. I'm still concerned till we see regular season action about Brian Johnson and Sean Desai. We'll see how they go. But I said players. At least I hope I said players. Eric jumping right in with DeAndre Swift, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown. So the 3 offensive weapons, Jalen Carter, Nakobe Dean. So let me go through my list and why. So Lane Johnson, we all know how important Lane Johnson is to this offense. We all know how bad the Eagles play when Lane Johnson isn't out there. Some people told me I was wrong for putting Lane Johnson on this list. and not Jason Kelce. First and foremost, Jason Kelce hasn't missed a game in 600 years now? So that's part one of the equation. Part two, Lane Johnson. Yeah, but see, Jason Kelce going down, we're screwed. But when was the last time Jason Kelce went down? It's been a long time. So I'm not as worried about Jason Kelce as Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson has missed time. And this is a great comment right here. We do take them both for granted, but we're starting not to with Lane Johnson because we have seen him miss time for injuries and for mental health issues over the past, and we struggle when he's not out there. Now, he is a gutsy, gritty guy, Lane Johnson, playing with his groin torn off the bone last year. What's up, Eagles Uncensored? How you doing this morning? I'm glad you're slowly working your way into the Core 12, Eagles Uncensored. You're here almost every morning now. I love it. I love it. We might have to call the Core 12 the Core 13 now. I just put Lane ahead of Kelce simply because we've seen it happen before. And we've seen the struggles at right. Who's our right tackle if something happens to Lane Johnson? Jack Driscoll? Sua Opeta? Who's going to play right tackle? At least if something happens to Kelce. And yes, you're saying I jinx Jason Kelce. I get it. I'm not a superstitious, type of guy. But we've got Cam Jurgens. We've got Landon Dickerson, both guys that were drafted to replace him eventually. I think we fill that center role in a short-term loss easier than we do the Lane Johnson. We have seen this team fail time and time again at replacing it. That's why, the offensive line depth is still so important on this team. Who's playing right tackle when Lane Johnson goes down? I don't have the confidence in Jack Driscoll that everybody else does. Hell, I had him on my roster bubble, Jack Driscoll. So, or the 420. Maybe it is the 420. Lane is a beast. He threw his balls in high school and played. I mean, pretty much, Eric. I mean, but he still did miss time. And we lose. I don't even remember what the record is. Our record stinks when Lane Johnson doesn't start. Plain and simple. So that is why I put him number one. A majority of our losses come when Lane Johnson isn't playing. No sacks since I was 2 years old from Lane Johnson, I'm pretty sure. Right tackle would be harder to place. I have faith in Jurgens. Yeah, see, I have faith in Jurgens being that backup center if Kelce was going to miss, 2 or 3 games. Now, I don't know if I'm ready for Cam Jurgens to be the guy for 15 games yet, but I'm ready for him to fill in if necessary. We've seen the replacements for Lane Johnson. That's why he's number one. A.J. Brown is the second most important Eagle. Mad chatter. So I put DeAndre Swift on this list as my number 3 most important. We'll get back to Nakobe Dean in a second. But a lot of people have said A.J. Brown. And I think it's a very valid concern for this Philadelphia Eagles team if A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith go down. Because O.Z. Quez Watkins, Britton Covey, Deion Kane, Devin Allen, Joseph Nagatu, or whatever his name is, the other wide receivers on this team, if those top 2 targets go down, pretty thin. But if DeAndre Swift has a season I hope he can have, that makes up for it. If Dallas Goedert stays healthy, like I've been preaching needs to happen, we can make up for it. If only one wide receiver goes down, we could survive because this offense is so deep. But, okay, he's 13-22 without Lane Johnson. That's not good. The O-line is key. And that's why I put so much emphasis on Lane Johnson being the most important Eagle not named Jalen Hurts this year. Because I think Jalen Hurts and whoever else is healthy on the offense can thrive as long as the offensive line is healthy. Mailata, Dickerson, Kelce, Jurgens, and Lane Johnson. It is one of, if not the best offensive lines in the National Football League. It's one of the best offensive lines in the last 5 years in football. Do they say that? I mean, I don't, but everyone needs an offensive line. Offensive line is so important. Like, I see people already predicting next year's draft. You're saying the quarterback class is deep. Team like Arizona, who's tanking, they're probably going to lose all their games this year. They got Kyler Murray under a big contract. Who knows what they're going on? There are 2 or 3 elite offensive linemen in the draft next year. But everyone's predicting the Cardinals to take one of the quarterbacks with the first pick, Caleb Williams. Well, guess what? They should probably draft a lineman with that first pick. What was Lane Johnson, a number 4 pick in the draft, 5 pick for the Eagles? When you draft offensive linemen and you build your team around offensive linemen, you build in the trenches, the rest works itself out. The better the O-line, the better. Exactly. Without a shadow of a doubt. And yes, Arizona does need to boot Murray, but you've invested a lot of money in Kyler Murray. Why wouldn't you consider just improving the line and protecting your franchise quarterback? I mean, I'm not a Kyler Murray fan, but just imagine that. All right, so I put Nakobe Dean as the second most important Eagle on this list. We've anointed him the next coming of whoever on the linebacker corps. The Eagles have undervalued linebackers for ages. There's a reason why we've only got 3 linebackers on our squad right now. Him, Zach Cunningham, and Christian Ellis. Now, they did bring back Nicholas Morrow onto their practice squad yesterday, which probably means that they'll probably bring Morrow up as one of the elevated guys. But Nakobe Dean has seen like 40 NFL snaps. Nakobe Dean has to replace 159 tackles of T.J. Edwards. Nakobe Dean needs to live up to the hype. Nakobe Dean is going to have to be a vital part of this defense every single game. He's going to have to stay healthy. You think about all the injury issues on this team or question marks. Nakobe Dean, that's probably why he dropped in the draft, because of his injury history in college. O-line does not sell seats, and that is why. It's not a sexy position, but I love it. I love the trenches. I think you build inside out. You start with your line, and then you build out. No point in having a franchise quarterback if you can't keep the franchise quarterback upright. At least that's my opinion. I'm not worried, man. We have depth, better depth than most teams. We can lose a player in almost every position and be okay. I don't agree with that. I don't know if we've got – I'm concerned about whether the backup lineman can fill the void left by the starting offensive lineman. We definitely don't have depth at quarterback. We definitely don't have depth at wide receiver. Safety and cornerback. Cornerback maybe, safety no. Devontae Smith is a 1 wide receiver, and he destroys number 2s with AJ. Yeah, exactly. Without a shadow of a doubt. I get it. It sucks losing people, but we can afford to. I don't think you can afford to. I don't want to see a string of injuries start to happen. Out of those 5 players, who has more of a chance to let you down? Out of my 5 players, Lane, Dean, Swift, Carter, Reed, who has the best chance to let me down? It's funny. The guy that I'm the highest on could be the guy that lets me down, Peanut, and that would be Nakobe Dean. There's still a lot of questions surrounding Nakobe Dean. What? How am I sounding like the silly man? Because I'm worried about our depth in certain positions? Don't ever. K1, you might be in a 5-minute timeout if you're going to compare me to Dan Sillyman. I do think Eagles are a top franchise with putting value on a line. They always have been, Mad Chatter. They always have been. What is up, Marshawn? How are we doing today? Howie always builds in the trenches. Absolutely. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, Adam. That's okay that you don't agree. I don't get mad, but that's why I said almost every. Hey, that's what we do. We don't argue on this show. We discuss and debate. So I always say everybody's opinion matters. Your opinion matters, Eagles Uncensored. It's okay that we disagree, though. I just think, does he? I don't actually listen to Cilio, so I don't know. I'm not a T.J. Edwards fan, K1. I've said that a million times. But he was a guy that had 159 tackles on this team. So you still got, just like I've got DeAndre Swift on this list, because Miles Sanders had 1,300 yards and 11 touchdowns. Still needs to be replaced. You call me Dan Cilio one more time, and you will be in timeout mode, without a shadow of a doubt. Out of this list, Lane Johnson, Nakobe Dean, DeAndre Swift, Jalen Carter, Reed Blankenship. Nakobe Dean's proven the least out of all of it. And that's why I put him on the list. It's just because of the lack of what has he proved? What has he done so far? That is why he's on the list. Cilio's trash how we struggle for views, but that man, yeah. It's because of that, though, Eagles. My platform is to have a conversation. Everybody matters. Everybody opinion should be taken into account. Sileo just says dumb. We've covered the silly man many times on the show, and I've called him out. He is welcome to challenge me and my opinion of him on this show. It's an open door platform. Anytime Dan Sileo wants to come on Trending the AM and prove he's not the silly man, he can. But he would never have the guts to come on here and have an actual conversation without just saying hot take stuff. Facts. That's all I do. I do opinions and facts on this show. Teams like Bills who do not value a line put quarterback. Absolutely. Big difference between the Bills and the Eagles. If you build a team around 5 great offensive linemen, a bunch of role players around your team, as long as you had a top 15 quarterback, like I don't want to take anything away from Jalen Hurts, but it doesn't hurt that he's got great talent around him. It doesn't. I'd be more concerned about Dean if he didn't have the Hulk and Juggernaut lining up with him along. Yeah, I don't doubt it. Not at all. One of the starting offensive linemen, what's his name, from the Patriots, basically been ruled out. Our guys are going to feast on Mac Jones this weekend on Sunday. DeAndre Swift, similar to Nakobe Dean. You know, Dean's got to pick up TJ Edwards' slack. I am not sold on Kenneth Gainwell being a 3-down back. I'm not sold on him being a lead guy. I'm not sold that Kenny Gainwell can have the most touches on this team and succeed big picture. That's why I'm putting DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift has injury history. But if used correctly and used the way I think he will get used, and we'll get to the poll questions and over-under, because I have an over-under total yardage on Swift, over-under on total yardage on Gainwell. And I'm surprised at how the results came out based off of how the fans, talk about Kenny Gainwell overall. What is up, Chief? Go Birds is right. Absolutely. Make sure you hit that like button. Likes help the algorithm. Likes help the views. Is Swift a better running back than Sanders? If healthy, DeAndre Swift could be a better NFL running back than Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders gets crushed in this city. But he was actually 1,300 yards and 11 touchdowns is nearly impossible to replace. And I don't buy the running back by committee the way it's being talked about. It's going to be a hot hand. Whoever's got the hot hand is going to get the most touches. Problem is, I don't know if Kenny Gainwell can stay that hot hand long enough. Kenny Gainwell doesn't have to be a 3-down back. He's available. He is. But K1, there's a lot of people talking about that Kenneth Gainwell is going to lead this backfield in touches, runs, and receptions this year. And I think it's going to be a big mistake if he does. I don't think he's built for that. I think he's built. You use him in a Darren Sproles type role. He's bigger than Darren Sproles, maybe a little more like Darren Sproles in his youth when he was in San Diego. Swift with a mediocre O-line missed 3 games. With an elite offensive line, if Lane Johnson stays healthy, hence why he's so important, DeAndre Swift could put up, if he was the lead back and stayed healthy, he could put up 1,500. That's not my prediction, but he could put up 1,500 all-purpose yards. Kenneth Gainwell, I don't think could. I don't think he'd be able to handle the workload difference in them. And this is all not taking into account Rashad Penny. This is not taking into account Boston Scott twice a year. I say that to the fact is I talk knowledge on football and facts most of the time. It exceeds others' knowledge, so they get butthurt. It's about being real. Don't lie to the people. Help them learn. Yeah, I just want to have an opinion. And I just want to debate my opinion with you guys. Dan Sileo thinks his opinions are facts. There's a difference between having facts and having opinions that you can't be. Look, I admit I'm wrong all the time on this show. Nobody wants. Well, Trey Sermon is hurt. He's on the. I think he's on the IR right now for the Eagles. He was released and put on the IR. This is great for me. My NFL team, Eagles, help my main team. Look, the Eagles are going to smoke the Patriots, man. Chatter on Sunday. I still don't buy. It's still a 4-point line. I went and made a few bets yesterday, and the first bet I made yesterday, man, Chatter, was instead of the 4 points, I bumped the spread up to minus 6.5, so I got plus 122. Every $10 wins you $22.20. So I added points to the line because I think the Eagles win by at minimum 10. But I gave myself a little cushion with a 7-point win covering it. Swift, I look at as like a poor man's McCaffrey. CMC, absolutely. And he's never had a quarterback like Jalen Hurts. He's never had wide receivers to open up room like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. He's never had an offensive line like we have here. Big difference between Detroit here. And this is not a knock on Detroit, just a big difference. DeAndre Swift, if he's given the ball 70% of the time or 70% of the touches that Miles Sanders had, he's going to dominate. I love that opinion. 30. I haven't made Friday. I'll make my prediction. I'm debating between 30 to 10, 35, 14, somewhere in that range. Trademark AOM. All opinions matter. Will you trademark it for me? Just give me a trending in the AOM. I like the way you got that. Oh man, look at Peanut with the great idea right there. I love it. Load management is key for the running back room because of the way they've built it, for sure. But somebody's got to get the majority of the touches. You know what? Let's go right to the poll here. Let me pull up on my Twitter here this poll thread from the other day. Give me a second to find it. I'll go right to that one specific poll question here. All right, here's the thread. All right, so I did over under DeAndre Swift all-purpose yards at 1,000.5, and I did over under Kenneth Gainwell all-purpose yards at 800.5. So 1,000 or more over or under for Swift, 800 more over or under for Gainwell. And based off of the way people talk, you would have thought everybody would have voted the over for Kenneth Gainwell, and everybody would have voted the under for DeAndre Swift. It's the complete opposite. 58% of the people that voted on this poll voted over 1,000 yards for DeAndre Swift this year. I'm surprised. 52% of the people voted under on Kenneth Gainwell 800 yards. Huge surprise to me based off of the way people talk. Mac is going to – he just lost one of his offensive linemen. One of the other ones is questionable. They're going to get flattened. What do you mean, K1? Load management. At Mad Chatter, not getting the running backs beat up over 17 games. Exactly. But somebody still got to lead. Eagles, Pats won't be close, without a shadow of a doubt. Bill messed up keeping Mac Jones. Should have kept Zappy. He fits – well, look, even if Zappy was the quarterback, I'd still be predicting a massive Eagles win. Zappy ain't any good either. I think Swift gets 1,800 all-purpose yards. Holy crap. Now, I'm a DeAndre Swift guy, but how does he get 1,800 yards? Man, he's going to have to play every snap for that to happen. I will extremely, if you want a pizza, I will bet you a free pizza here at my shop that there's no way he gets 1,800 all-purpose yards. Over for both. Over 1,000 for Swift, over 800 for Gainwell. I think the 800 number is about level for Gainwell. I don't think he's going to get much less than that. But I think Swift is either going to be massively under 1,000 or massively over. I think he's going to be around 1,200 all-purpose yards, about 600 or 700 rushing yards, about 500 to 600 receiving yards is the way I see it pointed out. If one running back is hot, I think this is how they're going to do it. They're going to start out the game with a little bit of Swift and Gainwell every game. And whoever's the hot hand is going to get a majority of the first half touches. And then in the second half, once we put our opponents away, that's when you're going to see Rashad Penny come in and wear down that defensive line and run out the clock under Swift, because they will spread the ball around. I don't think they're going to spread around Adam as much as we all do. You can go over and make a slice anytime you want. Look, I try not to. I don't like being here at 7:30 in the morning. I don't like being here because my alarms wake me up. I don't like my security system going off at 5:30 in the morning and waking my ass up, and then them not even delivering the food. I don't like any of that. So DeAndre Swift, I think it's really interesting how important he's going to be. So yes, I'm betting that they're going to stay healthy-ish. Why? Because they're not going to run 25 times a game here, okay? B, because this offensive line is not going to have them taking huge hits in the backfield all the time. I think that's going to be a big part of it. And Swift, he's going to catch the ball in the backfield as well. Who has more rushing yards week one, Swift or Hurts? Swift. Done. Stamp that. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, DeAndre Swift has more. I think you're going to see Jalen Hurts rushing yards come down. You don't want to take the running away from Jalen Hurts, obviously. Obviously, you don't want to take it away from him. You can't change who he is. But you can get him to do it a little bit less with this running back foursome that we've got right now. With these wide receivers, you can protect him a little bit more. And especially early in the season when these games are a little easier, you don't need to run Jalen Hurts heavy. You don't need to put him in problems right off the bat. I forgot that they drafted Christian Gonzalez. He was like one of the top cornerbacks. Where was he from? Oregon? Or was he the other guy? There were two top cornerbacks that everybody was projected in the top 10. Someone at the Eagles to draft them because didn't know what was happening with Slay and Bradbury. Jacobs had 2,000 all-purpose yards last year, 16,400, but on 340 carries. Swift will probably have around 160, 180 carries. Yeah, I think that's fair, Observer. I think 180 carries or 180 touches, I think is what you mean there. I could see him having 180 touches and then about 140 touches for Gainwell at this point. No, listen, if Gainwell was truly the guy, we would have not got Penny and Swift. Absolutely. Well, see, the thing is, Eagles Uncensored, I don't think Swift and Penny was the plan. Penny was the plan to complement Gainwell. And all of a sudden, DeAndre Swift became available very cheaply. So Hallie's like, let's go. And that's what he did. I really like Jalen running the football. He protects the ball and himself very well. I agree. I like it too. But we don't need to risk him getting hurt. He doesn't need to have over 700 yards. If he's got 500 to 600 yards, I'm okay with that. It's still letting him be him. It's still giving the defense the threat. It's just protecting him a little bit more. It also opens up more yards and more touches for our wide receivers, for our running backs and whatnot. See, this is one of my other over-unders. He's number 4 on my list. People are hyping him up. People are saying he's the defensive rookie of the year. 9.5 sacks for Jalen Carter. Interesting. Because on my poll, that is one of the things on my poll. And it's actually the number I put. I put over under Jalen Carter sacks at 9.5. This poll had 84 votes. 76% of the people that voted under 9.5 sacks for Jalen Carter. And I agree with that one. Now, I put Jalen Carter as an important part of this team, top 5, number 4 on my list, because he's the main guy being brought in to replace Javon Hargrave. Javon Hargrave had double-digit sacks, all-pro player last year, signed a huge contract with the 49ers. Jordan Davis is going to fill in some of that. Milton Williams is going to fill in that. But Jalen Carter's really the guy that's the replacement for Hargrave. He might not even be the official starter week 1. But I think it's under. It's very hard for a rookie defensive tackle in this rotation to get enough snaps early on to get to that 9.5, in my opinion. I think he's going to play more than Jordan Davis did last year, obviously, especially even early in the year. But 9.5 sacks is a lot for Jalen Carter to ask of a rookie to get. I really think that's pushing it at 9.5. I think 7, 8, that would even be pushing it to an extent. Rashad Penny and DeAndre Swift, both cheap 1-year deals. Actually, I think Swift on a 2-year deal? No, Boston Scott signed. No, Trey Sermon signed a 2-year deal. I've already heard rumors. I don't have sources, just rumors, that they've already been talking to DeAndre Swift about locking him up for an extension, like a really cheap 2-year extension before he bursts out and then becomes too expensive for Howie Roseman to sign. That's why I thought Rashad Penny wasn't a lock to make the team based off of his contract and based off of he was kind of like, oh, DeAndre Swift's available. Oh, he's even better. Let's bring him in. Yeah, you got to make sure you follow me on Twitter at Beard and Knowledge. I put this huge thread of polls out there, all different over-unders on Friday or Saturday. It just ended the poll yesterday. There's like 800 votes on this poll across all the questions. Over under how many quarterback sneaks week 1. I'll set the line at 6.5 quarterback sneaks. Well, quarterback runs, period. Everybody's going to smash the over, but I hope the under hits. Yeah, I don't know if Carter gets enough snaps in the rotation yet. He's going to play his way on the field, and I think he's going to play his way onto the field very quickly. Problem is with that, K1, is that at whose expense, and how does he do it? And even if he does play his way onto the field, You've got Carter. Just say this is your line one game. Just say this is your line. Jalen Carter, Fletcher Cox up the middle, Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat, and Brandon Graham. Say all 5 of those guys are on the field with Nakobe Dean, and then you got 5 secondary guys. Okay, just say that's your lineup one play. Jordan Davis or Jalen Carter is going to be double teamed. I don't know who you don't double team. Just think like this. I almost feel like this line is taking Hargrave off and basically just adding Jalen Carter. For some reason, I feel like we're deeper and more flexible. But it's also the little we've seen of Sean Desai, the pressure that he's going to put and the creativity he's going to use these guys. I don't know how the defensive line stopped. I really don't. It took Hargrave till 30 to get double-digit sacks. I'm not worried. Defensive tackles, nose guards, they just don't get double-digit sacks often. I'm not worried about losing him either. Carter and Smith will be able to make up the difference. I think maybe 9.5 sacks between Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter combined. I think that's a fair prediction. 2.5 tush pushes. Look, if I was the Eagles, just to piss off the NFL for trying to take away the tush push, I'd run the tush push on the very first play just as a big, I do it off screen because I don't like the YouTube, dings, a big middle finger to the NFL. You're going to try to take away one of our plays? We're not going to stand for it. We're going to run it. Reddick is on this poll too. Let me see. Where's Hassan Reddick? Last year he had 16 sacks. So I set the over-under this year at 15.5 sacks. Almost 60% of the people that voted under 16 sacks for Hassan Reddick this year. If anything, I think he might break last year's. I think Hassan Reddick has the potential. If he's motivated by money, and it seems like he is, he's putting team first, Hassan Reddick. Everybody on the Eagles puts team first. We've talked about it. That's why it's okay to get excited because team is bigger than player on this Eagles organization. Everybody plays for the name and logo, not the name on the back. Hassan Reddick probably won't, but has a chance to break Michael Strahan's sack record this year. He could get over 20 sacks. He's that damn talented. This defense is that good. Sean Desai is that good. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. He was 9th overall pick. He's playing more than you think. You don't play Carter. Don't play Carter. You have to Cox is your rotation behind Dave. Maybe. You might be right on that. You don't draft him to not play. And he's different than Jordan Davis because Jordan Davis is a different style of player. But don't forget about Milton Williams. And K1 says, did he have 6? I thought he only had 4.5 sacks last year. Milton Williams is, I'll do for tomorrow's show, my most underrated Eagles. I guarantee you Milton Williams will be number 1 on my most underrated Eagles power rankings. I love me some Milton Williams. What he does in his limited snaps is excellent. You cannot discount as that. Don't forget, it's almost like an addition. Derek Barnett missed most of last year. He's back. There's going to be a couple of those sacks from Javon Hargrave that you lost. Josh Sweat, poised to have another big jump this year. Josh Sweat, he needs to stay healthy as well. Reddick, I think, will get 18 sacks. I predicted 18 sacks last year. He didn't have a single sack the first 2 games, and he still almost hit it. I think over 18 is not hard to imagine from him. TJ Watt breaking the sack record, maybe. And Milton is a dog. I'm a huge Milton Williams fan. The big issue with Milton Williams is that I think Milton Williams is going to have limited snaps again. Closer to 50. Last year, I think he played like 28% of the snaps or something like that. 32, somewhere around there. Right around 30% of the snaps he played last year. He's probably going to play closer to 50% of the snaps this year. He's going to play well, like he did last year. And his stats, his analytic stats, based off of percentage of snaps played, are going to be great. He was one of the 4 best run stoppers in the league based off his percentage of snaps last year. He is going to be a free agent after this season, Milton Williams. He is going to get a big, not a Javon Hargrave big, but he is going to get a big contract that we probably can't pay. I mean, we lose Fletcher Cox, maybe we can, but it's going to be 36. So he played a little bit more than I thought. I actually was almost said 36, but I thought I was over-exaggerating there a little bit, so thank you for that. I think Milton Williams will play himself into a big contract this year. Milton is just buried. He is. But he's going to try his best to play his way out of being buried. Sean Desai is going to have a lot of packages, single out guards for Carter and single out tackles for Reddick. Over 6.5 for Carter, over 7. Yeah, see, I said it 9.5 for Carter just to see where everybody was thinking. And I said it 15.5 because of where Reddick was last year. But I think you're about right. I think 6.5 is a pretty strong number for Carter. I think 18 is pretty strong for Reddick. Over under penalties for Barnett in week 1. Over under 0.5 penalties, Adam. Which side of that line are you betting? I'll bet it at, I'll say over 0.5 is minus 105. Almost even money. Under 0.5, I'll set at minus 120 because I don't think he plays enough. So you're getting better odds. He's more likely to not have a penalty. Niners are going to pay Milton. Probably. They already paid a lot to Javon Hargrave, and they're going to regret that. And out of 36, he was 4th best run-stopping lineman, defensive tackle in football last year. Absolutely. Yes, he was. So I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting how this has played out. Lane, Dean, Swift, Carter's importance. Look, I've also got Reed Blankenship as an important Eagle. He's number 5 on my list. Why? I rank Reed Blankenship important because who are other safeties? Sidney Brown, raw rookie, loads of talent, but plays 110 miles an hour. Terrell Edmonds, journeyman, I don't even know what to call him. Journeyman average safety. Justin Evans, a guy that can't stay healthy. They cut Kayvon Wallace and kept Justin Evans. Plus, Reed Blankenship's only really had 1 year of success. And he wasn't successful all of last year. He wasn't even a starter until Chauncey Gardner-Johnson went down. With the last 6-7 weeks of the year? Yes, this cup is empty. If anybody's close to the Foxes in Kennett and wants to bring me another cup of coffee, my security alarms went off at 5:30 this morning. I'm going to need a lot of coffee. I do have a Pepsi Zero right here to take over since this coffee cup is empty. So yes. So just think about it. We're putting Reed Blankenship has played so well at the end of the year, and it's such a good camp that he didn't even dress for the last 2 preseason games. That's how well thought of he is by this team, but on a very small sample size. And that concerns me. Safety and linebacker are 2 positions we don't value the way we used to or that the fans do. And I still think they're very important. In the way the NFL is being groomed, less linebackers, more defensive backs. I think it's very important to have at least one strong, confident safety and linebacker. That's why Nakobe Dean's number 2 and Reed Blankenship's 5 on this list for me. Now, I have a little bit more confidence in Reed Blankenship than Nakobe Dean because we've seen a little bit more. But it's not like he had this huge pedigree, Reed Blankenship. He almost was cut last year. He did miss an opportunity, and he's still available to be traded. Nobody wants him, though. That cup, yeah, we already got over that one. Trade deadline isn't until Halloween. Exactly. I love that they pushed it's one of the best moves the NFL did was changing the trade deadline and backing that up. You're lucky, your own boss. Not necessarily always true there, man, Chatter. A lot of negatives come with being your own boss. When your security alarms go off at 5:30, you got to wake up. Jason Kelsey will wear his mummer's hat in the Hall of Fame speech in 2030. Going to take him till 2030? That means you're going to see him playing for 3 more seasons? I don't know. Over under Quez drops. Over under 0. Because Quez is going to surprise me and all of you. Maybe he's going to have a bust out. Now, Quez Watkins is on my over under list here. Over under 450.5 receiving yards for Quez Watkins. That was on this list. 450.5. 65% of the fans that voted under 450 receiving yards for Quez Watkins. That's surprising. I know OZ's there, but I'm going to have to disagree with the fans on that one and say over hits. That Quez Watkins is going to be somewhere between that 500 and 600 yard mark this year. I want to see Sidney Brown play too. But I want to see them ease him in. Ease him in. Why? Because he hasn't learned how to throttle down. And I've been talking about this since the training camp hype and the joint practices started, AK Eagles Uncensored. He plays so fast that sometimes he's going to miss tackles. But if you ease him in and teach him and groom him a little bit more, maybe that slows down a little bit. We do have 20 good edge rushers. We got about 10 great and about 10 more good ones. Over under deflections for Eli Ricks for the whole season or just week one. I don't think Eli Ricks dresses week. I'm going to say under. Sorry, I dehydrated here. It's hot in the pizza shop. I'm scared with the guy on the loose. I don't have the doors open in here yet to start cooling this place off. I don't think he dresses a lot this year. He's going to be one of those inactive players, probably week one. So we'll see how that plays, but under 8.5. You guys are way too hard on Quez. That's why I'm saying over 450. 65% of the people voting under. He may look. I said this a lot last year. We're not talking baseball. Don't freak out, people, when I mention the Phillies. Don't talk. I'm not talking baseball, but I'm going to make a Quez comparison to Rhys Hoskins. Rhys Hoskins made a huge error in the playoffs last year. And everybody discounts all the great that Rhys Hoskins did for the Phillies, carrying them to the playoffs and in the playoffs. And we've been missing him and his leadership this year. Quez Watkins the same way. When you're in the playoffs, and in football, it's even bigger than in baseball because it's a one-and-done thing. One mistake gets amplified so much. In a 17-game season last year, plus the playoffs, he made 3 mistakes. 2 of them just happened to be in losses in key moments of those losses. The Washington game and the Super Bowl. So it amplifies the mistake. He literally made 3. I mean, how many other guys have made many more mistakes? And Quez gets crushed because of the timing of it. Full season. We are talking full season here for all these things. But, yeah, under 8.5 deflections. AJ dropped more balls than Quez last year and fumbled. Yeah, well, I talk about it. That's why I say Devontae Smith is number 1 and AJ Brown is number 2. Not that I'm starting trouble. Not that I want you to come after me like everybody went after Ed Kratz, my man. But AJ Brown does take plays off. AJ Brown makes mistakes. He's not fully invested on every play. He's got a little bit of that for who for what. Ricky Walters in him. Just a little bit. Just going to say it. But that's that. Let me get back to this poll here. Let me see some of these other poll questions here. We've only touched on some of them. All right, so poll question number 1. Over under 4,099.5 passing yards for Jalen Hurts. 4,099.5 passing yards for Jalen Hurts. For sure. Now, on the Jalen Hurts passing yards, 54% of the people voted over. And I think that's an easy over. I'm surprised it was that low. I think Jalen Hurts pushes 4,300 yards. Jalen Hurts is going to break the Eagles' single-season passing record this year without a shadow of a doubt. Adam, you're agreeing with me on that as well. I'm surprised that number is so close, 54%. And then the next poll question was over under 699.5 rushing yards. Now, the over was super high on this one, almost 64%. Said he's going to rush for over 700 yards again. I think it's the under. I think it's the lesser. With this running back rotation, hopefully a healthy offense, some new ideas and wrinkles, us not being, running away with games and him having to pass a little bit more this year, in my opinion, I think it's the under. He's going to rush a lot less this year. I think it's going to be close to 600 on the rushing yards. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near 700. But a lot of people think he's going to hit that. Less rushing yards. I agree with you as well, Adam. And you again, and just Observer says it. Yes, I agree. Over on 499. Was Ricky Waters the running back obsessed with homegrown and eating cereal? I don't know what he was obsessed with, but he always said for who, for what. And the alligator arms his first thing. I don't see Hurts with 13 rushing touchdowns. I think I put touchdowns on this list here. So, okay, well, let me see on this Twitter poll here. So I did a over under combined total passing and rushing touchdowns for Jalen Hurts at 33.5. And the over dominated this one. 90% of the people says he's going to have 34 or more total touchdowns, and I agree. But, yeah, I think he's going to have 7-8 rushing touchdowns, but I think he's going to get close to 30 passing touchdowns this year. I really do. I think you're going to see 29, 30, 31 passing touchdowns. What stat line does Jalen Hurts needs to win the MVP? Last year's stat line, I think gets him the MVP. I think there'll be a little Patrick Mahomes fatigue this year, unless Patrick Mahomes goes off for like 6,000 yards. I think if Jalen Hurts finishes where I think about 4,200 passing yards, about 600 rushing yards, about 35 total touchdowns, I think that gets him the MVP. As long as we still win 12 or 13 games, which is a poll question as well. 4,800 passing yards, 38. I think 38 passing touchdowns is pushing it. I don't think he needs 46 total touchdowns. That's really bold there, Eagles Uncensored. Really bold to go 46 total touchdowns because you're going to have some rushing touchdowns for Swift and Gainwell and Penny and all those guys as well. Ricky Williams, he was the guy that, that Mike Ditka traded like his entire draft for. Continuing down this poll question. We did the running backs, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. I did it over under the same number for both of them. Over under 1299.5 for A.J. Brown and over 1299.5 for Devontae Smith. A.J. Brown had close to over 1,400 last year. And Devontae Smith had under 13, he had 1,200 something last year. 61% of the people said over 1,300 yards for A.J. Brown. And 58% said under 1,300 yards for Devontae Smith. I disagree. I think it's going to be right around 1,300 yards for A.J. Brown. I think his number comes down because I think Devontae Smith takes a big leap this year. I think he gets over 13. I think both of them are right around 1,300 yards. 2,600 yards total between your two top wide receivers. And you're going to get more from your Kenneth Gainwell, DeAndre Swift. They're going to catch balls out of the backfield. Hopefully Dallas Goedert stays healthy, which is also on this poll. Over 33. He just had 35 touchdowns last season, missing games. You think he needs 5,000 all-purpose yards and 40 touchdowns. Wow. That's so many. I don't know if he could do it. I hope he could do it. It'd be fantastic if he did. I've got him in a lot of fantasy football leagues, so I hope he does it. 6 rushing, geez. Does 40 even work? I don't know, man. It's crazy. I do think there'll be a voter fatigue on Patrick Mahomes. But you also got to compete with Joe Burrow if he stays healthy. Lamar Jackson should be healthy. Trevor Lawrence, I made 2 bets yesterday. I bet 11-1 Jalen Hurts wins the MVP. I bet $10, pays out $120. I also bet $5 on Trevor Lawrence at 15-1 win MVP to pay out $80. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have an MVP caliber year. If Calvin Ridley hasn't lost a step, put him in there on that offense that they had last year, another year more mature, I think it's going to be a big year for Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars offense. Pat throws 50, but 42 is hard for Hurts to come on. Yeah, it's different, though. I don't know. We'll see. Both wide receivers dropped slightly because of the running back situation. I agree. I agree with you totally. Continuing down this list, Dallas Goedert, I put at 800.5 receiving yards. The over got over 71% of the votes. 71+% of the votes went over 800 yards. Now, while I think Dallas Goedert can get over 800 yards, how do people think he's going to get over 800 yards? The man's missed 5 games 2 of the last 3 years. He's missed 12 games total in the last 3 years. To get over 800 yards, Dallas Goedert's got to play 14 or 15 games, and he doesn't do that. He's done it once in the last 3 years. And that was still only playing 15 games. So I don't understand. I think Dallas Goedert has capability of being a 1,000-yard tight end in the NFL. I think Dallas Goedert can have 8-9 touchdown receptions. But he's got to stay healthy. And he doesn't. And that's a big problem. So I'm surprised so many people, everybody just assumes Dallas Goedert this, Dallas Goedert that. Over if he stays healthy. Exactly. But does he stay healthy? When was the last time he stayed healthy? We also don't need to run those tight end screens anymore. We don't. I mean, I would love us to get back. I'll get you in a second. I wish we get back to the running back screen. We used to be such a great running back screen team. You used to get Trey Thomas and, these guys out in space running and blocking for Brian Westbrook and all these guys back in the day, Darren Sproles. We don't do that anymore. I would love to get back into that. Who are the Eagles' offensive and defensive MVPs this year? Well, Jalen Hurts is going to be the league MVP, so I hope he's the Eagles' offensive MVP. Defensive MVP. I hope it's Nakobe Dean. I hope, because that means he lives up to the hype and he's an elite type linebacker. It probably will be Hassan Reddick. Yeah. Maybe Josh Sweat. But I hope it's Nakobe Dean. Or Reed Blankenship. Just because These are two guys I think are very important for our success, Dean and Reed. So I would hope it's one of them. Probably be Son Reddick. It'd be shocking if it's Jalen Carter. People are betting Jalen Carter to win Defensive Rookie of the Year all over the place. I just don't know. We saw that. Well, Phil, have a great day, bro. Love having my coffee. Hey, appreciate you tuning in every day, Eagles Uncensored. I really do. Never hurts to hit that like button and share button either, my man. Make sure you tell everybody this is the number one show. Everybody complains about the dial. Well, you don't have to turn the dial on. You can put this. You can even plug this show on YouTube into your car speaker and listen on your ride to work as we go through this. I read the comments. So if you can't comment, I still read them. So you know what the people are saying. You guys commenting, 140 comments, it's no different than people calling into the radio station. This is what we do here every day. Ed Reed Blankenship. It'd be great if we had a Reed Blankenship turned into Ed Reed. It'd be great. And if Sidney Brown turned into Brian Dawkins. It's asking a lot, though, Marshawn. We never have Phil fatigue. You guys are going to have Phil disappointment when next 2 weeks, there's a few less shows. What are you guys going to do with your mornings when I'm in Cancun? Now, I'm going to do, if the Wi-Fi is good, a few shows from Cancun. But there ain't no way, with the time zone difference, I'm waking up at 6 a.m. to do a show on my anniversary vacation. I will do a show next Thursday before the Eagles game, maybe 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I will do a Friday post-game show at some random moment on Friday. But Tuesday, Wednesday next week, no shows. We'll do a Monday show, but because I'm still in town. But man, what are you guys going to do without me? 4 out of 6 shows. I don't know what you guys are going to do without me. Here's a hot take. Maybe it's not, but Dean will have over. Well, I don't think it's a hot take. If you said over 150 tackles, that'd be a hot take. Remember, TJ Edwards had 159 tackles. Kazir White had just over 100 tackles. We talk about where will the replacement of the Javon Hargrave stats come from? Double-digit sacks, all the tackles for loss. Where's the 259 tackles coming from that we lost at linebacker? Nakobe Dean has to make up a lot of them. So it's not a hot take over 100. If he has under 100 tackles, we're in deep water. Eagles and such. He needs to get over 150. That's my opinion. Well, this is an interesting one here from Adam. We'll get back to it in a second because this is part of the question. Trending in the AM Discord live with Mad Chatter. That is right. That's what we do. No notes needed. No notes. We just wing it here. Boo. Yeah, I know. No shows 4 out of 6 days from Tuesday to Tuesday, next week to the following week. 4 out of 6 days. I'm just not doing it. Can't do shows on Tuesday, the next 2 Tuesdays because I'm traveling. Wednesday, I'm sleeping in at least one day on my anniversary. Maybe Cilia will take over. Then you guys will all never show up again if I let Cilia. How many interceptions will Eagles defense have week 1? I don't know. Because the Patriots might not even pass the ball more than 5 times. But on my over-under list, I did put over-under total interceptions combined for Slay and Bradbury. And I set it at 6.5 over-under. Over 65% of the people that voted on this voted over 6.5 for Darius Slay and James Bradbury. They had 3 each last year, so 6 total. And 65% of the people think those two have more interceptions combined this year. I don't know. Maybe. Our opponents were down a lot last year and passing a lot against us last year. And they still only got 6 interceptions. I don't know if it's likely that over hits. Discord. That's right. The 12 could, you guys have your own days. Dude, hey, celebrate 17 years of marriage next week. We're going to Cancun, all-inclusive resort. As long as the Wi-Fi is strong enough to stream, I will do a few shows midday, afternoon, while the wife's taking I've had too much sun and booze nap. I'll sit out on my patio or deck or whatever kind of room I have with the ocean in the background doing a few shows, without a doubt. Just not every day and not in the morning. Damn, 150. I thought 100 was asking a lot for the first year started. But look, TJ Edwards had over 150 tackles. I'm not a TJ Edwards fan. But 250 tackles from your linebackers, and you're relying on Zach Cunningham and Nakobe Dean to match that. Or at least close. So if Nakobe Dean doesn't get 100 tackles, we're in trouble. I guess. I mean, maybe not, My wife lets me do this every morning. So, I got to kind of keep her happy sometimes, Plus, I'm going to be out partying at late every single night. I'm going to fast and over quickly, right? Is that what you're trying to say, K1, about your first marriage? Fast and over quickly. Damn, I know, Marshawn. That's a riot. I'm not gonna lie. That is a riot. A great at first, and then a dumpster fire. Oh, I was thinking you were talking about how it was over in 12 seconds. Every play was over in 12 seconds. And it was the run and gun offense. That's what I was gonna. Like maybe this is too early in the morning. We got to keep it PG with where my mind was going with the Chip Kelly era and over quickly too. But yes, I've been married. I don't even know. We leave on the 12th. My anniversary is the 17th. So it's that Saturday next week. It'll be 17 years of marriage I'll be celebrating. But anyway, continuing through this poll list here. Let me see what else I've missed here. Over under there. Okay, so we've hit Quez Watkins. We've hit Hassan Reddick sacks. We've hit all of those. Total wins. So I predicted yesterday 13-4. Dude, my mind is in the gutter 90% of my life. If I'm not in the gutter, I don't know. If I'm not making dirty jokes in my head, something's wrong with me. So yesterday I predicted 13-4 for the Eagles. And when I did this poll, I already knew I was predicting 13 wins. So I said at 12.5, the over-under. 64% of Eagles fans that voted on this poll, and non-Eagles fans could have voted the over. 35.9% said under 12.5 wins. And this show is titled, It's Okay to Get Excited for this Eagles. And the reason being, because this team is legit. But I don't think it's a hot take to say 13 wins or 14 wins for this team based off the schedule, based off the quality of talent this team has. It's okay to get excited. You're not setting yourself up for disappointment because so much would have to go wrong for this team not to win 12 or 13 games. Adam's saying 14 wins, so he's got the over. The next poll, the final part of this poll question was yes or no. Will the Eagles win the Super Bowl? Now, this is homerish. This vote is definitely a lot of Eagles fans because over 70% of the people that voted on this poll, most likely Eagles fans, voted yes, the Eagles will win the Super Bowl this year. That is a little homerish. I voted yes. I think the Eagles win the Super Bowl. I mean, they're plus 600 to win the Super Bowl on DraftKings. Has Chip Kelly recovered? No. He's struggling at University of California or UCLA or wherever the hell he is coaching. He was a lightning in a bottle in Oregon. It just didn't work out. I think his career in Philly could have been differently if him and Howie could have worked together and he didn't try to take over personnel decisions. It was just a disaster. People don't realize how much time podcasting takes away from our family and friends and children. Yeah, absolutely. I put in a lot of time in this. I get up at 7 a.m. every morning. I put in time at night prepping the show. I spend time in the afternoon researching, doing stats. I spend a lot of time on social media to keep the algorithm going and promoting. Doing this every single day, 5 days a week. I used to do it just once a week. Doing it 5 days a week is a massive undertaking. It really is. So I appreciate everybody tuning in every day. I appreciate the thumbs up, the likes, the shares, the notifications, everybody being here to support me. Because it is an undertaking. It's a lot of work to do this on a regular basis. But when you take too many days off from doing it, well, there goes the algorithm. My Core 12 might find Dan Cilio entertaining and decide to tune in to him instead. I've been married. I don't know things not to say around my wife. I know what not to say. I know what to say, too. That's what she said. Okay, 45 forced fumbles. Our special teams with Chip was elite. We were just a fast team. I remember 2012, too. I remember 2020. Dude, did anybody think 2020 was going to go as bad as it did? I don't think so. I don't. Yes. What's the percentage of couples that last 17 years of marriage from our generation? Probably. My wife and I, my secret to marriage is just not giving a crap. Open, if my wife says something, sure. If I say, okay, she want to go down and visit her parents in Fort Myers for a couple of days, sure. If I want to go do a fantasy football draft, sure. You want to adopt 2 more dogs? Sure. You want to foster 2 more dogs? Sure. Whatever. Having an easygoing attitude, We might have fought once in 17 years of marriage, plus another year plus of dating and engagement. Don't get upset about anything. Keep things happy. Always say goodnight. I love you. Kiss good. All that stuff. It's so simple. Let's go. I can't wait for Sunday evening. Tomorrow, shocking news. Mr. Founder of Philadelphia Sports Network. He doesn't do many podcasts. Liam will be on the show with me. And we're going to start talking Eagles-Patriots and how the Eagles are going to win this game. I'm going to ask him about my list and some of these other things from today as well. Get Liam's opinion. But Liam will be joining the show tomorrow. Who knows? Who knows what'll happen when Liam is on the air? He forgot his notes here. I always got my notes. Almost always. I only forgot them once or twice. Paying Byron Maxwell and trading Shady for Kiko. I mean, paying Byron Maxwell was a mistake, but somebody was going to pay him. And then learn that he was, a system cornerback. The Shady for Kiko Alonso had to be – it's got to go down as one of the most awful, worst trades in the history of Philadelphia sports. Worse than the Andrew Bynum trade. It is one of the worst deals ever made. I appreciate that, Zeke. Can I call you Zeke? I hope I can call you Zeke. I appreciate it. I really do. I do not have kids. We have 2 dogs of our own and 2 foster dogs. We had other dogs in the past that have passed away. I call shenanigans. No, I had 1 fight, and it lasted like a day or 2. That's it. Liam will be here tomorrow. He was supposed to be here last week. I think he partied a little too hard at All In London. He was at Wembley Stadium for All In AEW. I think he partied a little too hard, and I think he was under the weather for like 6 days because of that. I'm going on 14 years of marriage. Hey, congratulations to you. If I had my soundboard, I'd give you the sound effect for a round of applause, but I appreciate that. It's great, man. It's not as hard as people make it out to be. Open lines of communication is the key. You got a pen? Please do it. You know what? Please click. Yeah, I got you. You just made the list. Hold on. There's my pen. You made the list. Been with my wife for 23 years in total. We don't argue anymore. We've learned. Just embrace. Roll with the times. It's so easy. See, not only do we talk sports here, but we do marriage counseling here on the show. If you got marriage problems, bring them to Trend the AM. I'll solve your problems for you. I could be a counselor. Sure. Why not? Worse than the Ryan Sandberg. Man. Exactly, man. Woo! Julio Jones ate Byron's lunch. Breakfast and dinner, for sure. Yeah, man. So I don't know how he made it as many years as he did. Like, I don't understand how San Francisco gave him a job. I mean, it couldn't have happened to a better team, them having another downfall. But, man, that's right. We could be the Dr. Phil show here. I hate being called Dr. Phil. Everyone just assumes because my name's Phil, they could call me doctor. No. I'm not a doctor. But I've got some years under my belt. You children of this show that watch, I got some years. I got some experience. I've been in the good and the bad. I'm just in a very long good right now. Shout out to marriage advice. Like, I could do it all on this show. We don't have to talk. We've talked Eagles. We've mentioned the Phillies. We've talked about the escaped murdering convict on the loose right now. He could be running through my parking lot right now. And we've talked marriage advice. That is incorrect. And that is why our marriage works so well. She knows she's not always right. I know I'm not always right. Open line of communication. We discuss things instead of argue. That's what it is. Shout out to Jeffrey for keeping Howie even. Absolutely. Shout out for Jeffrey for giving Howie the leash long enough to learn from his mistakes. Because Howie 2023 is vastly different from even Howie 2020. Just think about how bad. Take Jalen Hurts out of the equation. How bad his 2020 draft was. I mean, the second best guy we drafted in 2020 was probably Sean Bradley, and he's a special teamer who's out for the year. This is a safe place. I always go back to it was when I was with my previous network. The show the day after the Brian Flores situation unfolded in the media. And we spent, it was only an hour show back then, not an hour and 15. We got about 10 minutes left of today's show here. I'll give or take a few moments. But the show the day after the Brian Flores news dropped about everything that happened in Miami. And we did almost 2 hours on the show. And all we did was talk about serious issues surrounding Brian Flores in the NFL. And it was one of the most hard shows to do, but we did it. And we got through it. And it had thousands of views. It was one of the highest viewed shows I've ever done, especially on Twitter and on Facebook. But you know what? We have all the conversations, no matter what they are. A lot of women portray one way. Look, I am Chef Phil. I wear lots of hats. The chef hat, the manager hat, the owner hat. If heaven, your freezer. I have a better idea. Poppy, marriage is not that bad, man. As long as you find the right one. Don't rush into the wrong one. Make sure you figure it out before you do it. Don't put a ring on it if you're not serious about it. Getting divorced is very expensive. Jason, if you're watching, you can vouch. I know occasionally you watch from the office at work. If you get the wrong one, it can get very expensive. He might be high in the freezer. You never know. It's okay. I got you, my man. Meanwhile, Elton and Darryl are out here making mistakes on top. Yeah, they're getting a leash that's too long. Why don't you have to bring the Sixers in today's conversation? I might end the show 5 minutes early because you forgot about it. I'm rolling. I'm in. I'm in a zone right now. Yeah, I mean, might be lonely, maybe not. Whatever. Only Fools Rush In. Isn't that a movie or something? Really cheesy, stupid movie or something like that? Look. Gotta keep sipping this soda here because my coffee's gone. And it's hot in this shop, man. Adam will vouch. It was hot when he came to pick up his pizzas last night. Look, this Eagles team, it's okay to be excited about them. I put these guys that are our 5 most important Eagles this year, not named Jalen Hurts, and it's so debatable. My wife's actually watching. We're talking marriage stuff, and my wife's actually tuning in for the first time in like a decade, and he's getting closer. So that is not good. I might want to go hide in the freezer in a little bit, for sure. Marriage is not that bad. That's what Chip was thinking after he traded for Kiko. Yeah, exactly. There's lots of great lines. Anyway, back to the Eagles here. Let's not worry about the escaped convict. Let's not worry about marriage. Let's worry about our Philadelphia Eagles. Marriage is better, but take a long time. Make sure. Yeah, look. Let's get off that. Let's get off that topic. Let's go. Move on. It's okay to be excited because if you think about all we've talked about today with this Eagles team, who's important, who's not important. If you think about everything we've talked about and debated on who's going to have the most of this yards or that yards or touchdowns or sacks, like somebody said at the very beginning of the show, this team is so deep. I think it was Eagles Uncensored said, this team is so deep. Even if one guy goes down, there are enough players. There are so many backups on this team that would start on other teams. That's right. And she didn't even like the video. Like I could see, she checked it on Facebook, and she didn't even like it. There's only 5 Facebook likes, and one she was watching for a minute and didn't hit the like button. How dare her? We have a 17. She's even making record predictions. And there she goes. She's watching now. Because we're talking about her, she's going to watch. And she just liked the video. There we go. She's just making sure I'm alive. That's all. She's making sure that the armed robber, the murderer is not here in the shop right now. It's the only reason why she's checking in. She wants to know whether she's got to show up to work or not today. It was hot in here last night. It's hot in here right now. After we're done this show in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to open everything up in here for sure. Yeah, we're going to have a little fight on our marriage if she didn't even hit the like button. She hit the love button, the heart button. So that's like an extra step from her right there. Over under pizzas sold today. It's a Tuesday. There's an escaped murderer on the loose in my town, getting closer to the shop. I'm not sure. It's hard to deliver with so many roads closed for the convict. It's either going to be super, super busy because schools are closed today because of this guy, or it's going to be super slow. I hope it's busy because a hot day like today goes a lot quicker when it's busy. Over under pizzas, I don't know. I can't even make that number. I'm not even sure. I have no ballpark of idea what to go off of today because of the situation in it. I do live in a GTA game without a shadow of a doubt right now. All right. Let's start the wrap-up process of this show today. Tomorrow, Liam Big Boss Man, PSN, joining the show. Maybe for all of it, maybe part of it. I don't know. Confirm with him later today. We'll continue this conversation on most important Eagles. We'll start diving into who the Patriots are. Serial killer special, 2 slices for $1. Oh, my God. If I ran a special, like, how would that go over on social media? If I did like a escaped convict special, would that go over positively or negatively? I'm not sure. That's interesting. If I ran a special on my Facebook page for Fox's Pizza, would that be weird? It's to call it the escaped convict pizza special, 2 for $1, or if you can escape without paying. I don't know. Interesting. I wonder how that would go over in a sensitive town like Kennett Square. Probably not well. Don't do it. Yeah, I don't think it would go over well. Yeah, marriage counseling time. Maybe me and my wife should do a show together. I've tried to get her on a show. When I was on a previous network, I tried to get the wives of the podcaster show started. Maybe some other podcasters or YouTubers, maybe their wives want to do a show with my wife, and they can just talk about us doing shows all the time. I think that would be hilarious. Killer special. Come for the pizza, stay for the thrill. It's crazy. I have done free pizza if you could predict the Eagles score correctly. No one's ever done it. Big Boss Man, Patriots serving hard time. Yeah, I agree. I don't know if I could do it, Kyle. Do it, Mrs. S. I don't know if you want to call her Mrs. S. But yeah, I already brought up the Patriots like roster and depth chart here. I was going to get into it a little bit today. We didn't. So, we'll get into it tomorrow with Liam, talking about some of the things that are going up. I'm still trying to find a Patriots beat reporter. I don't know. I'm trying to get a couple of the other PSN guys on this week, help us talk week 1. Brian, Mike, Nick, one or two of them will be joining us at some point this week as well. But I think it's time to wrap this show up. No 5 minutes overtime necessary. So we're going to wrap this shebang up today. Make sure you hit the like button. It's hot as heck in here right now. So I really gotta roll. You just call her Melissa. That's her name. She's not Mrs. This, Lady That, whatever. Just Melissa. That's it. Melissa's going to get flooded with friend requests from all of you guys on Facebook now. Anyway, I got to get this place opened up and cooled off. I got to start getting this place set up for the day, even though I'm here a half hour earlier than normal. But no super chat equals no extra time, no overtime. Actually, I would have kept doing it. I did. So I told you guys I did the Hurts and Lawrence MVP bets. I told you I bet the Eagles alternate spread minus 6.5. Ring that bell. That was a great game by the Phillies last night. Below in that game, almost. Then Alvarado comes up clutch. Phillies, Kyle, got a huge bullpen problem. Huge bullpen problem with the Phillies, without a shadow of a doubt. Go Birds. That is right. I'm not using her name. Yeah. Why is it so hot outside? It's like 95 degrees. Like today's day 2 of like a 60. We're having a bigger heat wave here in September than all the heat waves combined this summer. It's brutal. I did make one other bet. I bet the Chiefs money line for Thursday night against Detroit minus 290. It only pays out 1344, but it's a guaranteed lock that the Chiefs win over the Lions. And on top of that, DraftKings has got a promotion running right now that if you bet the money line of any game and that team is up 7 points at any point, it automatically pays out. So as soon as the Chiefs go up 7-0, I get my money. And even if the Chiefs lose, I still get my money as long as the Chiefs go up 7. So because I'm a small bettor, they cap me at $10. So I'm only going to profit $3.44. But those promos, they're big. Easy way to pad your bankroll. El Nino, is that what it is? Isn't it El Nino when it snows? I don't know. Great show. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate it. It's been a fun show. Weird doing it here at the pizza shop. I like doing it in my office. I always complain that my office is too hot at home. But, man, it's hot in this pizza shop. I need like a change of shirts already. God making sure we're done well. Look, hey, everybody have a great Tuesday. Stay cool. It's going to be hot. If you're in Chester County, watch out. Keep an eye out for El Escapee. Try to not do anything stupid if you see them. Call the police. There's a video circulating from someone's ring camera the other day. And someone put it in the community page. What should we do? We just saw this on our ring camera. Instead of calling the cops, they went and posted the ring video on social media first. Are you stupid? Call the cops if you see this guy. His picture's plastered everywhere. He's 5 feet tall. He's wearing a white T-shirt. He's barely made it 3 miles from the prison. Area of ocean, heated shifts south, warms us to. I thought the El Nino was snow, but I'm no meteorologist. That's just me. I'm no John Bolaris. I don't predict the storm of the century. Yeah, ask him. I should ask him what he thinks of the Eagles. I should ask him his opinions on these over/under threads if I see him, right? See if he's an Eagles fan. See how many wins he thinks the Eagles will have. Why call the cops if they just stick him in min security anyway? I think he was trying to get transferred. Something was going on at the prison. I don't know what. The warden randomly retired 2 days or a day and a half before this happened. Who knows what happened there? That's weird. Shawshank Redemption 2.0. Why not? My wife's even making DraftKings jokes here. Do we have a guy? I think he gets caught today. And if he doesn't get caught today, he might never get caught. If only Sam Girard wasn't retired from the U.S. Marshals. He's great at catching fugitives. Or whatever the Con Air's name guy, whatever Nicolas Cage's name was in that movie. Anyway, we got to wrap this up, guys. Trending the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. Make sure you hit that like button. We're not on YouTube or Twitter anymore, just YouTube and Facebook. Having problems with Twitter, so I'm just going to push YouTube every single day. More and more people on YouTube, the better it is, easier it is to make money. It's on so the promotion I'm talking about, Eric, if you bet the money line on any single football game, you have to click opt-in. And I forgot to tag, if you don't have a DraftKings account, tomorrow I'll put my DraftKings link, and you can sign up using my DraftKings link, and then we both get, referral bonuses and stuff like that. If you don't have an account, wait, and I'll share my link. So the way they do it, I don't know if they're going to do it every week. They did it every week last year. If you opt in to a promotion, you bet any money line game. If the person you bet, the team you bet is up at 7 at any point in the game, you instantly get paid out. So if I bet the Eagles money line, just say I did, and the Eagles lose, but the Eagles were up 14-7 at one point in the game, I get paid out that money line. If you bet the Lions money line, which is plus money right now, over the Chiefs, as long as the Lions go up a touchdown and still lose to the Chiefs, you still get paid out. It's a great promotion. It's easy money if you pick the right money lines. That's right. She did hit a like button. She hit the love button, the heart button. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up. Train the AM right here on Phil. You guys got way too much time today. I started a few moments early. We're already into 4 minutes of overtime. Way too much overtime for you guys today. Be back tomorrow right here training the AM with Liam. Liam's in the house tomorrow. Not physically in the house. He'll be live remote from wherever he is in the UK. Everybody have a great Tuesday. Stay cool. For Trending the AM, hit that like button. Hit that, like I say always, it's free to hit that like button. I check all replies on replays. So make sure if you have any comments, you drop them. I'll reply. Have a great day, guys. I am Phil Stiefel. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Go Birds!